The starting point of self-knowledge is recognizing this marvelous fact. You are extraordinary, you are unique. The possibility of someone identical to you existing is more than 50 billion to 1. In every part of your body, anatomists, physiologists, and doctors have demonstrated that your blood composition is different from every other person who has ever lived. Your fingerprints are different, your lip prints, your ear prints, your finger ridges. They're all different from anyone else who has ever lived. You are different from everyone else, and self-knowledge begins by accepting that you are a unique and special individual with the capacity to do something wonderful with your life. That being said, you're also equal to every other person when it comes to certain basic principles. Throughout human history, the most intelligent men and women who have ever lived have sought answers to the fundamental human dilemma. What can people do to change the quality of their lives, their relationships, and their results? Great philosophers, great metaphysicians, great scholars have pondered this, sometimes for their entire lives. In our century, I know men and women who have spent 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years studying success and achievement to discover what general rules and principles we can follow to be more successful. The first thing we must begin with, the foundation of this entire course called The Psychology of Achievement, is this: we are creatures whose uniqueness lies primarily in our minds. Everything else is similar. As playwright Eugene O'Neill said, "What makes a pig or a horse unique is its mind. Its body merely carries its mind." And just as electricity operates by the laws of electricity, physics by the laws of physics, and nature by the laws of nature, there are certain mental laws that determine everything that happens to you. These mental laws are as inexorable as the law of gravity. They work 100% of the time, and every success in life comes from living in harmony with these basic mental laws. All problems or difficulties in life stem from living out of harmony with these fundamental laws. Mental laws work 100% of the time, just like gravity works 100%. What this means is that if you jump off a 10-story building in whatever city you live in, whether it's London, England, or Lima, Peru, you will hit the ground, whether you know about gravity, believe in gravity, agree with gravity, or find it convenient or not. Gravity will still act upon you. The mental laws work exactly the same way. In this course, I'm going to introduce you to about 20 mental laws, some more important than others, but all critical for you to understand. Let's begin with the first mental law. The first law, which, by the way, has been written about and studied for centuries, with many now validated by major universities, research institutes, and laboratories in recent years, has been found to be as true as we've always imagined. The first law is what we call the law of control. This law is very simple, it's a basic law, and we'll see it again and again. It simply states that you feel good about yourself, positive about yourself, to the degree that you feel in control of your own life, or you feel negative about yourself to the degree that you feel you're not controlling your life. What you need to do is look at your life today and ask yourself, in what areas of my life do I feel best? In what areas of my life do I feel most in control? And you'll see that in those areas, you're happiest. Since the ultimate human well-being is a state of happiness expressed through mental peace and loving relationships, control is absolutely essential. Modern psychologists call this the difference between an internal locus of control, the feeling that you're in charge of your own life, versus an external locus of control, the feeling that something outside yourself, your bills, your relationships, your job, your health, is somehow controlling you. There's actual research on locus of control, and there are many tests you can take to determine where you fall on the spectrum in terms of what areas of your life you feel more or less in control of. People with a very high internal locus of control, high achievers, are more successful, more self-determined, and happier. One of the main goals of this course is to help you develop a much greater sense of control in every aspect of your life. Control begins first and foremost with your thoughts. It's fascinating how your thoughts, what you think and how you think it, determine your values and what's happening inside you. Once stored, your thoughts determine your feelings. How you think determines how you feel, whether you're happy or unhappy, fearful or confident. And your feelings determine your actions. We begin with the law of control by stating that the key to success is feeling like you're the architect of your own destiny, that you're at the helm of your life, that you're in charge. By taking full and complete control of your thoughts will control your feelings will control your actions, and your actions, never forget this, will determine your success or lack thereof. The law of control is crucial. Opposite to the law of control, we have what's called the law of accident. The law of accident is actually a metaphysical principle. It's only a law, like a traffic law or legal statute, to the degree that we consistently live by it. About 80% of the population lives by the law of accident. The law of accident simply states that by failing to plan, you're planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Most people don't believe they live by this, but if you observe them, you'll see it's true. These are the people who say things like, it's all luck, being in the right place at the right time, it's fate, it's destiny, etc. These are people who, because they believe their lives are controlled by outside forces, have no clear plans or fixed goals, don't work persistently and consistently day after day toward achieving what they want. Their lives seem adrift. They go in circles like a ship without a rudder. A person who drifts like a ship without a rudder, who has no plan, is someone with very little control. Someone who effectively feels like they're falling through space with no idea where they'll land. These people are invariably unhappy. The reason people are negative, unhappy, sick, and frustrated, achieving less in life, is because most of them live by this law of accident. And by doing so, they have no sense of control over their lives, no sense of inner peace, no sense of happiness. We're going to show you how to permanently free yourself from the law of accident. The next law is called the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect states that for every effect in life, there's a specific cause. Everything that happens in the universe happens for a reason. Nothing happens by accident. Failures don't happen by accident. Successes don't happen by accident. Happiness, or the lack of it, is the result of cause and effect. In our relationships, if you want more of something in your life, more success, more money, more happiness, better health, you need to identify the cause and strengthen it. If you want less of something, fewer problems, fewer difficulties, you need to identify and address the cause. All progress in life and human society comes from identifying the causes of what we want more or less of and changing those causes. Now, the law of cause and effect is, of course, the iron law of the universe. This is the law we can return to again and again, and many of our other laws are variations of this iron law. It's also called the law of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow. But the iron law, the law of cause and effect, gives us a complete sense of control. If we believe there's a cause and effect relationship, that everything happens for a reason, then we have tremendous control over our lives. We can identify causes and replicate them. We can make our lives what we want them to be. The most important application of the law of cause and effect is this: thoughts are causes, and conditions are effects. Thoughts are causes, and conditions are merely effects. The starting point of all your thoughts about something, your thoughts about your work, a relationship, your health, your future, become causal agents, and conditions become effects. If you want to change any conditions in your life, you must change the thoughts that precede those conditions. You must change what's happening in your mind right now. The amazing thing is that there's only one thing in the entire universe over which you have total control, and that is your thoughts. If you take complete control of your thoughts and align them positively with what you want, then the effects will take care of themselves with the inevitability of a natural law. The next law is called the law of belief. This law simply states that whatever you believe strongly becomes your reality. The key word is strongly. The more emotion you invest in a belief, the more it becomes your reality, because you will always act in ways consistent with your beliefs. In fact, your entire reality right now is an outward manifestation of your most deeply held beliefs. Whether you believe something positive or negative, as Henry Ford said, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Your beliefs shape your reality to the degree that you accept them as true. Your beliefs act as filters, screening out any information that contradicts them. We have a deep-seated need for consistency, always interpreting our world to align with what we've already decided to believe. We develop what are called scotomas. In psychology, a scotoma refers to a blind spot. We don't see opportunities if we're convinced they don't exist. We overlook possibilities for success if we don't believe success is possible for us. However, when we begin to change our beliefs, we change our reality.